We are live.
Jasmine.
It's Charlotte and Laura.
Hello.
Jessica's not here with us, but we've got beautiful Laura, and it's actually very appropriate. Yeah, it's weirdly appropriate that Laura is joining us because we have a Colombia connection this week, which is pretty cool. And Laura is a huge Colombia fan.
Yes.
She's actually wearing her
my Colombian earrings, my Colombia shirt.
Yeah, all that. So, which is pretty cool. So we are coming from Aragon Wine Market in Pensacola, Florida. We always have to let you know where we are because we do have people that join us from all around the world, which is pretty cool. So here we are.
In Pensacola, where it's dark and cold. I'm sure it's dark and colder in other places, but right now for us, it's dark and cold.
It's dark and cold.
And I'm already over winter, and I'm ready for spring.
I know.
I'll just put that
I wonder what it's like in Colombia.
I imagine in Medellin, it's the land of eternal spring, so it's going to be about 70 degrees.
Nice.
It's like probably
so,
breeze.
So our special guest is from Colombia tonight. She doesn't live there now.
No. She was born in Colombia. When she was 14, she tasted some wine. I think she snuck some from her dad or something and decided, I'm going to be a winemaker. And dang it, she didn't absolutely do that.
Right, I know. Well, and
there's not a wine culture in Colombia.
Let's talk about stuff that's good on the store first because she is so incredibly interesting that we will. I feel like it's one of those shows that we could talk forever about her and ask her questions and stuff. So, but one thing I will say is that Christmas is here. Christmas is next week. If anybody doesn't know, Christmas is next week. And we do still have our Christmas boxes available. We have a mixed case, which is awesome. And then we have our all red case, Rudolph's Red Nose case. I know. But Monday is the last day to order them. So if you need to get your Christmas box order in, you've got to get up with us and call us now because Monday it's going to be too late. But I mean, seriously, it's always so nice to have those kind of Christmas boxes in for your family that come in.
Yes.
The one that's got the mixed case has got a little bit of everything in it. And also the red one is also pretty nice too. Also very nice too. The mixed case, you get 1 bottle of whites, rosés, bubblies, and a quart. The red is 2 bottles of different reds plus 1 bottle of Mary Edwards and 1 bottle of port. So
port is clutch for Christmas.
Port is clutch. But Monday is the last day to order, so get your cases and get your things in.
We also have some little wine tasting in a boxes.
Oh my gosh, those are awesome.
Those are amazing. If you haven't come by the store and seen them,
they've been selling
like crazy. And I understand why. Each box comes with like 3 different wines of the same type. So you have a Sauvignon Blanc, and one's going to be a French Sauv Blanc, one's going to be from Chile, and you've got one from Marlborough. So you get to taste a distinctly different wine. Yeah, it has a little note thingy in it. You can take notes.
Yeah, it's like a wine class in a box.
Yes, it's amazing. We have a few of those left if you want to swing in for people who want to learn more about wine.
Yeah, and it's a great gift.
It's a great gift.
I've had
$50.
Yeah, it's $50 for the 3 bottles plus the wine lesson in the box, and we have Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Cabernet, and Pinot Noir. Mm-hmm. So that's a great.
I just thought about it because you were talking about the wine boxes. I was like, we have these wine boxes.
Yeah, but we're also doing a cheese special.
Oh yes. Here's our cheese.
So the Beaches is on special. The Marco Polo, it's delicious. It's peppercorn cheddar. It's going to be half off. I know, it looks delicious.
So good.
It is. I know. I'm like, it looks delicious. I am pretty sure I do know it's delicious.
So. Or Rioja.
I like the sound of that. So
it's kind of crumbly. It's aged. It's really good, and we're selling it. So we're selling it for
half off because it's going to be out of date.
Yes. So please go buy some of our cheese.
It's going to be out of date.
Buy some of our cheese before we.
I mean, we'll. Anyway, okay. So for tonight, we've got a super special guest tonight. Bibiana Gonzalez Rave. She was 2015 Winemaker of the Year. Incredible. And you love her. I love her story, but feel her story.
I felt it because I just like, if you're a 14-year-old girl and you've already decided 100% what you want to do with your life, first of all, you got to respect that. And from being from a culture that, I've been to Colombia a couple times, there really isn't a wine culture there. There aren't vineyards, which it's one of the most biodiverse countries in the world. So you think there's got to be a place that you could grow grapes, but currently there isn't a real wine culture there. So for her to just make that decision and then make it happen, I was just so incredibly impressed. Yeah. I mean, she didn't just make it happen. She moved to France. She worked these vineyards.
Right. She just make it happen.
Yeah. She like, I don't know, for someone who doesn't speak French, she moves to France. She decides to work all these harvests in these famous vineyards, and then gets a bachelor's degree at the University of Bordeaux with honors. She went to the University of Cognac and got a degree. And I mean, she's like, this is all before. It's amazing. I feel lazy every time I think about how much she's done in the world. She's amazing. I don't know. I think.
Well, we're going to bring her in. I just want to let everybody know, please don't feel funny about asking questions. We encourage people to ask questions. We encourage you to ask the questions. We will be monitoring that. So just type in your question and we'll get to it as we can. So without further ado, we are going to put in Bibiana. Hi, how are you?
I am good. Can you hear me?
Yes. Absolutely. You sound great. And you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited. You are very excited about having a Colombian. I am very excited to be doing a tasting virtually in Pensacola, Florida. So,
well, we hope you'll come to visit Pensacola, Florida at some point.
Yeah, I was supposed to be there this year in July, so we will make it happen next year.
Well, we all were supposed to be somewhere, and that really has kind of been a drag. And so, fingers crossed for the future. So, I'm gonna bring in Michael Fix. There we go.
Oh, there he is.
And Fix is always our great little rep. That's our liaison between the wineries and selling the wines. So
bringing enjoyment to people, I would say, bringing enjoyment to the masses.
Yes. So my first question is like the ultimate question, like, how did you feel when somebody called and said you got 2015 Winemaker of the Year? Because I would have just died.
Yeah, that definitely is, probably the biggest achievement or recognition that I have got in the United States. And it's something that you definitely are never expecting. I was trained in France. We are trained to work really hard for 40, 60, 80 years before you even get recognized or even your name is known. Right. So really, that recognition was really meaningful to me. It came on a year that a lot of things happened. I had my first children in 2015, and I was just running like crazy between my consulting clients and my own label and having a baby and going to vineyards. And we are just going through all of these busyness, and then you wake up on Sunday, you get the San Francisco Chronicle newspaper, and you are on the 2 pages big image.
Wow.
It was just really special. I feel very thankful for how generous the wine critics have been to my craft, and I'm definitely very passionate. I love what I do. I work really hard for it. But you really don't expect it. So definitely make you realize that you have such a responsibility with the wines that you're making. And it really actually puts so much more pressure on you moving forward.
Sure, yeah. Like, what are you going to do next?
Yeah. The bar is set. Now you got, look, Bibiana, I don't know you personally, but I'm assuming, it's an assumption, that you're going to go ahead and go above the bar, because everything, since you were 14, you're like, here's a little sip of wine. Oh, I want to be a winemaker. Oh, I think I might get a degree in chemical engineering first, and then I'll go to France, and then I'll work on in these vineyards, and then maybe I'll graduate from honors from the University of Bordeaux. Just a few things.
Right.
At the age of 20, whatever you were when you did that, I just don't know. I can't handle it. It's too much. It's true. It's commendable. I've been to Colombia. There's really not much of a wine culture in that country. So for you to just decide out of the ether that was your thing and to go for it.
How did that
happen? It's amazing to me.
Yeah, that's such a great question, and I think it definitely is one of the most difficult questions that I get asked. I grew up on the most terrible years of the history of Colombia, the 80s and the 90s. Everybody knows of Pablo Escobar. Everybody has watched Narcos. Everybody asks you, everybody thinks that Pablo Escobar is your uncle. People don't realize that Medellin is 3 million people. It's a huge metropolis. And we were just really growing up in the middle of a very violent time for the country. It was really devastating and really sad. So growing up in this city, not really connected to any farming, not having any idea of how wine is made, and just really be fascinated by the idea of making it, not just drinking it or serve it or enjoy it, but I really just said, I want to make wine. I didn't know what making wine entitles, for sure. As you say, Laura, there is no wine production in Colombia. There are some vineyards people have planted for fun or just to say we can plant the grapes, but we cannot really produce great quality grapes for wine. So it really requires seasonality. It really requires to have winter, and we don't have that on the tropical. So Colombia is so close to the equator that, as you were mentioning before we start the tasting, Medellin is called the eternal spring city. So that tells you it's beautiful weather all year round. It rains, but it's not cold, so we don't get winter. And I just really got fascinated with wine and studied chemical engineering. I actually didn't graduate. I did 2 years of college on chemical engineering and 2 years on business. And I ended up going to France. I didn't know any French. I applied to all the schools and they all rejected me. So I took my backpack and I just show up. And I am here. And I was.
Where did you start in France? Where was it that you started?
So I went to Cognac first. So there are 12 different schools for viticulture and enology. And Cognac is kind of the first city southwest of Paris. So I was going to go across all the hexagon to see who would accept me. And I show up and they 2 months later, they accept my application. And since then, it has been an amazing ride. I love making wine. I still feel the same passion today as 25 harvests ago. So it's pretty cool.
Yes, my gosh, everybody dreams to, and I kind of, I think we all kind of hope that we can have a passion and make a living at it. And not only have you done that, but you surpassed probably your expectation as a 14-year-old girl.
Really? I read her bio. I got tired even looking at it. I'm just saying, it's amazing that you have accomplished as much as you have, and that you chose this line of work. And I just wonder, the tenacity. Do you think that comes out of the I don't want to call it adversarial circumstances? It was not a good time to be living in Medellin in the 80s and 90s. And I just wonder if, I've met so many people from Colombia, and the people are amazing. They're beautiful. They just have this effervescent spirit that's just this never die, continue to move on spirit. And I just wonder if that's something that as a child you experienced that, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to move to France where I don't speak French, but I'm going to get by because I'm Colombian and I can conquer the world,
Yeah, there is definitely a lot of where I come from. I am super proud of being a Latina Colombian, born in Medellin. People from Medellin is very entrepreneurial and very, tenacity is one word that people use a lot from people from Antioquia. And they just this joy of life. And I just never thought about a different route. So it was like, I want to do that, and it's kind of going to happen. But I definitely think my culture, our family-driven life and love for life and being positive, and I don't know. I think definitely a lot has to do with where I come from and my family and my parents supporting what I wanted to do, despite sounding very crazy. But I really want to be sure that everybody that is seeing us has a glass of wine.
Yes. So we shall start with the rosé. Everybody that's watching, I see Patrick Bradley is watching. Hola, women folk. Hola, Patrick Bradley.
Hola.
Wait, hold on. We got some man folk in now, and maybe another one coming soon. So the first one, if everybody's got, I don't know if everybody got all the wines tonight, but we are starting with the rosé first. And Bibiana, maybe you can start us off telling us a little bit about the rosé and who our special guest might be.
Awesome. Yeah, so I'm very excited about introducing our special guest tonight. That is the farmer for this wine. So Lucy Rosé is 100% Pinot Noir. It comes all from State Vineyards, farmed and owned by the Pisoni family. So our special guest is Mark Pisoni from the vineyard.
Now there's Mark Pizzoni's at the vineyard. Wow. Hi, Mark. How are you?
I'm outstanding. Very happy to be out here and share part of California vineyard life with my friends in Florida.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful.
That is the most incredible picture ever.
Such a beautiful view.
You look great.
It's real. And I'm, as a farmer of our family, we've been farming for generations in the Santa Lucia Highlands. And I get to spend my day in this gorgeous ranch looking to craft fantastic wines. So where I am in the Santa Lucia Highlands, I'm just over the ridge from Pebble Beach, Monterey, Carmel, the central coast of California, in the mountain range. Our family owns and farms 3 vineyards, Sobranos Vineyard, Gary's Vineyard, Pizzoni Vineyard. And I get to spend my day running around these hills, crafting fantastic wine grapes, and giving the grapes to my brother to make great wines like this Lucy Rosé. I mean, I absolutely love my job and sharing what we're doing with it.
Yes, and this Lucy Rosé is incredible.
Delicious.
We're just enjoying it so much right now. So it's 100% Pinot Noir. What other wines do you do from the Lucy brand?
So this rosé is the only wine we do under our Lucy Rosé brand. Extremely proud of it because it's a state farmed. It's also sustainably farmed, which I'm really proud of. So as a farmer, I love talking about farming. So now where I'm standing at our Pizzoni Vineyard, which is about 1,400 feet elevation, I'm standing in our insectary. And what we did is we planted all native California plants designed to bring in beneficial bugs. These bugs increase in strength and number, spread throughout my ranch, and help me fight bad pests. So it's a very traditional way of farming.
Yeah.
It's an old world way of farming, and it's the right way to grow grapes.
I think this is super cool, and not everybody kind of understands that. So maybe you can explain exactly how that works, where you're getting one thing to be a predator to the other thing, and how that works.
Exactly. As a farmer, I love talking about soil. I love talking about dirt. I love talking about bugs. So what I'm doing is I'm attracting beneficial insects. So these are friendly bugs like ladybugs, like parasitic wasps, like lacewings. And what they do is these good bugs will then increase in their population. So I want a lot of these bugs around. And then these bugs will go out in my vineyards, and there's bad bugs out there. And these bad bugs, what they'll do is they'll eat my grapes, they'll eat my leaves, the things like mites, things like aphids, things like mealybugs, and they're really detrimental to the grapes. Instead of spraying them, I don't want to throw a bunch of chemicals out of my grapes. So instead of spraying them, I'm working with nature to control these bad insects. And really, it's a high risk way of farming also, but it's the right way to do things. I mean, I live on this. I'm here all the time. My kids are here all the time. Our team and the vineyard team is out here all the time. It's like, I want to take care of this ranch, and I want it to be around for generations. And farming
honestly, we've been doing these virtual wine tastings since April, and that really has been the theme of the tastings. I mean, people are like, this is my land, and I'm wanting to pass it along to my children. And it's been a wonderful
legacy.
It's a wonderful theme to have. I love it. It's a wonderful theme, and I'm glad. Of course, you're on board with that. But it's really nice to hear that. So the rosé is 100% Pinot.
It's amazing.
And can you tell us the method that you make it?
Yeah. So I'm, as a grape grower, it's this great transition or handoff. So I get to grow these grapes all hand farmed, all picked grapes in the middle of the night. We harvest every grape by hand in the middle of the night. So for a month, I run around in the middle of the night with a headlamp with our team, hand these grapes off to my brother. He gently presses them at the winery and ferments them in neutral oak barrels. And then we get this gorgeous wine that like leaps out of the glass. You got these super aromatics. My wife and I go through a bottle of this in no time. And it's the perfect afternoon wine.
I think we're almost finished with ours too. It doesn't take long.
I mean, it's
really good.
It's delicious.
It's really good.
I mean, so did you grow up? I mean, your dad's Gary, right? So I mean, you kind of grew up in this whole crazy industry.
It's a fantastic industry. I absolutely love my job. I love sharing the grapes that we grow with people. I love sharing our wines with people. And, you know, really, our father and our family is really committed to growing fabulous wine grapes and making great wines. I mean, we don't make a lot of wine, and we're really focused on making a little bit of wine really spectacular. And this rosé really captures that. It's got this great vibrant acidity and these kind of like strawberry watermelon aromatics that leap out of the glass. Makes it pair with a wide variety of foods. And it's fun to be able to create wines like this. And in continuing that sustainable cause, we donate $1 of every bottle that we sell to breast cancer research.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, write that down so we can remember to tell people.
Yeah. So we've you talk about doing the right thing on the ranch, and as a company and a winery, like you need to do the right thing and look out for the rest of your community. And this is how we do that with this wine. Met some amazing women around the country, really strong ladies with fantastic stories that we're able to support and become lifetime friends because of wine. I mean, wine does this. I'm sure you ladies know this. Wine connects people, and I love that aspect of my job.
Totally. Remind me to tell you another time off camera about the time we went around buying up a bunch of Pizzoni Pinot, and I'm pretty sure we drove the price up. But that's another story it's another story to be had. But you're right. I mean, the thing is, it's about people, and it's about wineries and wines and joining together, and that's what's so awesome about it. And Laura's getting us some more because we're getting a little low over here.
Sorry.
And this, Mark, it's Michael Fix from Winebow. This rosé is 2019. And I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about kind of how Pinot did in 2019 in regards to the Pinot, the rosé that we have here. But this wine is drinking fantastic. I know we're going to be heading into 2020 rosé season not that long from now, in a few months. So I think this wine is holding up really terrifically, and it's going to be great for a while. But maybe you could talk a little bit about how, farming Pinot Noir in general leads to such a beautiful rosé, and kind of like maybe what the differences are between making just your Pinot Noir wines and making a rosé from Pinot Noir, and kind of what challenges might arise or what you might be able to do to mitigate that for rosé.
Yeah, great question about rosé. First, Pinot Noir is notoriously one of the most difficult grapes to grow. Very low yields, very susceptible to issues in the vineyard. We've always grown Pinot Noir because our location is perfect for it. I mean, we're near the ocean. We have these really poor granitic soils. We're up in the mountains. It's windy. Not much grows up here, but Pinot Noir thrives here. The 2019 vintage did particularly well for us, which I'm really excited about. It had a lot of great natural acidity, and was easy rolling up in the harvest. We're very hands-on in the vineyard, so we're constantly going through, and we drop fruit on the ground to ensure the grapes that we harvest are a little bit better. And these little steps that we're doing in the vineyard help our wines all the better. That way my brother at the winery gets fabulous fruit in great condition, and he gently presses this wine, takes that small amount of free run juice, blends it with a little bit of Saignée from our fermentation, and then he ferments it in neutral barrels. So you don't get rosés like this that are made with like the love and commitment that our family has to being good grape growers at this price point. And we're able to do that because we own these ranches. You know, we own our winery, and my brother and I mean, our team's out to make fabulous wines and do so at good price points too, that we can share with everyone.
Yeah, and the nose, I was going to say the nose is extremely complex on this Pinot Noir Rosé. I think for a Pinot Noir lover, you really get to experience some of that beautiful nose that we get off of our favorite Pinot Noirs, which we're going to see with the Belly of the Whale in a little while, where we see just a beautiful nose that is evocative, and almost when you get the glass, you don't even want to drink it. You just want to keep smelling it and just let it just, you know, that moment where you almost feel bad if you drink it, like somehow it might change on you, like it might not be as good as your nose implies. At least for me, it's always about the nose. I just smell it, and sometimes I just want to put it down and just say, I feel unworthy of drinking you, right? But Pinot Noir Rosés, it's, you know, yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead, what?
And rosés I love, guys. And rosés I love because they're really bright, they're really aromatic, great natural acidity, and you could pair them with a wide variety of foods. Is why one of the reasons my wife and I drink a lot of rosé house. And we serve them really chilled too. Like we stick them in the ice bucket or stick them in the freezer for a little bit before we eat them, drink them, and we love them really chilled. And they just go down. Those bottles, their glasses empty quickly in our household. But you know, that's what wine's meant to be shared. And rosé, and this is a totally dry rosé also. I mean, I call it a very serious, a wine drinker's rosé that's looking for a fabulous wine in a rosé. Cool.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I'll be like, oh, what do I want tonight? Do I want bubbly? Do I want white? And I'm like, I just can't figure out what I want. It's like something on the tip of my tongue, and I'm like, rosé.
Totally. You know what?
Summer sipper. I know
That's
that's
not just a summer
at least
sipper.
here in Florida, we do a lot of like people come in and they want stuff like poolside sipping, and that's what they think of rosé.
I mean, we sell a lot of rosé here in Florida, us in the summer especially. We've been open 12 years, and we've always had a rosé section in the wine store. And I would say that we were maybe ahead of the time, because a lot of times people would come in and be like, right past the rosé, because they were like, you know, they think, they would think. And my favorite thing to do when we did wine tastings in store, I would always throw in a rosé, and people would be like, oh, I'll skip that one. I was like, oh, is it too dry for you? Because people always think it's going to be a little sweet. And so, you know, little lessons here and there. Our people that watch the show probably know that it's not sweet, but yes.
But it goes with so many different foods.
And it's so easy.
Throughout the year, it's easy. Rosé is it's amazing. It's fabulous. And this is amazing.
Well, it's incredible.
I want to give you a quick look around my ranch at my world, which is cool. As a farmer, I totally thank you guys for inviting me into your household. And here's a quick look at our ranch. You can see we're up in the mountains. You kind of see the hills. Our ranch, there's a number of small little vineyard blocks around here. We're up in the mountains, so really farming mountain fruit. And what this mountain fruit do, I create little tiny berries and little tiny clusters that give this wine so much of that vibrancy and that natural acidity. You can kind of see we got the hills up here. Jeep, that Jeep is a fun Jeep I run around the ranch with.
That looks fun.
My grandfather gave it to my grandmother as an anniversary present.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So just for reference for the people that are watching, you guys are in Sonoma?
So I'm in Sonoma. Mark is in the Santa Lucia Highlands, Monterey County. So for those that love golfing, Monterey County, Pebble Beach. Mark is just like 45 minutes to an hour from it.
Okay. Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful, and I love the Jeep.
It has a story.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a story. Everybody wants to be you, Mark. We all think that you're the luckiest person lived right now. I'm like, why don't I have a job farming wine?
Well, your dad wasn't Gary Pizzoni, which is the coolest man ever.
I guess
so. Right?
And you know,
it's pretty cool.
I would love to invite anyone watching, if you're a big fan of these guys and these wines, I would love you to come out and visit me in California. And I'd love to run around the ranch, get you actually out here in the vineyards, and almost I'm happy to put you to work, and we'll drink lots of Lucy Rosé.
I'm there.
As soon as we are able to travel, we will be there.
Yeah, don't invite me because I will go.
She might not leave.
I'm like an Australian. I'll just show up.
So,
invite me to go somewhere. I'll show up at your doorstep and be like, hey, I'm here to pick grapes. Hey.
So Mark, before the light, take out the charm because I know it's getting late for the mountains to get some light. Mark is going to be driving on the Jeep. Hopefully the signal will be on our side. And I would invite everybody to really check out the view because that's really what he's going to be showing us all. It's really a very special vineyard. So the vineyard where Mark is the Pisoni vineyard. He also farms two other vineyards. There are the Gary's vineyard, another very famous vineyard for Pinot Noir, and the newest, not so new, but newest vineyard is the Soberanis. So Mark really not only farms 3 different vineyards, he is a vegetable farmer. The Pisoni family has been farming vegetables since very early, I would say like on the 50s, and they were on the dairy business on the early 1900s. So they have been farming in the Salinas Valley, I think exactly since 1908, 1918, which is pretty remarkable. So Mark farms lettuce, broccoli, cauliflowers, arugula, all kinds of vegetables.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
I love it too.
I know, we're definitely coming to visit you, Mark. So
yes,
you invited
remember
us.
our faces. And remember you invited us. You should come.
We won't run out of wine. We won't run around out of wine.
Mark, I think you muted yourself. You might have closed the muting.
He might have muted himself on accident.
Yeah. So Mark, you muted himself so you will not get the wind. It's windy and it's not.
Yeah, he did that.
So he will be muted during the trip. But I really would say that Jeff and I, my husband and I, we drink a lot of rosé, and I am a huge fan of the Lucy Rosé. I mean, there's so much rosé on the market, but I think the beauty of this wine is the texture with so much acidity.
Yeah.
So was being very generous on talking about the descriptors of the wine, which I think they are right on. I'm very impressed with your tasting knowledge, Fix. But it's also the texture and the acidity of the wine. I mean, it's just a wine that really can be drank during the winter, during the summer, and that is really so well made with sustainable farm grapes and just a winemaking process that is so respectful, really aiming to just make extraordinary rosé wine. So it's not really a wine that comes as a second thought to Jeff, my husband, who is a winemaker, but really a wine that is being thought through the process to really make something really special.
Well, I feel like this is one of those tastings that we could do in 2 segments because
there's so much
we've only talked about one wine, and we're going to get Mark. Thanks, Mark.
Well, also, we'll say this if we want to close out on the rosé a little bit, before we move to the Chardonnay. I think a lot of the changes we've had in tariffs and the euro and some other things that have been happening with rosé. I meet a lot of people who only want to drink rosé from Provence or other parts of France or whatever, and they're often faced with a challenge finding domestic rosé. The price on this rosé for people is really not that far off from some of your more famous or whatever well-known Provence rosés. And that's going to continue to be the case now that, tariffs have been in effect and that the euro change has been in effect. So this is a tremendous value where not a lot of people really even realize it's right under their nose. And to be more appropriate, it's so evocative from that Pinot Noir that you're getting even more bang for your buck here. That's my one salesman pitch to everybody out there. Everybody likes to hear the old salesman thing every once in a while, but really it is. It's amazing to have a truly beautiful wine that is really quite affordable and I think from a beautiful place that is making beautiful fruit. So.
Cool.
Agreed. I mean, it's delicious. Laura's
really
still
is.
savoring
I'm
hers.
still savoring mine. I don't want to
She is, and
I
I mean, I get it.
Chardonnay, but this is so good.
Well, I mean, because we're doing 3 wines tonight, so we're kind of like needing to move along. But like I said, I feel like this was I knew it. I knew it at the very beginning because of Bibiana. I was like, oh my God. And I read some of her stuff and I was like, I feel like we could talk to you all night long. But so you decided to make your own winery and tell us about that. And we'll drink the Chardonnay to begin with.
Awesome. Yeah. So you are drinking the Cuban number 5, right?
We are drinking
the soul of the Cattleya.
I will bring it. Give me a
It's
and we should say also that Bibiana came to this project just was it the same time as Paul Meyer or was it immediately following Paul Meyer?
Yeah, so it's been so interesting. The birth of Cattleya wine. So Alma came after Cattleya wine. So we are gonna taste Alma first, and then we are doing the Cattleya Berry of the Whale, which is one of our most expensive Pinot Noirs. So when I came to the United States, my first vintage was in 2004, and I work in Sonoma County, and I really, really fell in love of Sonoma. So I was able to do, to make Pinot Noir, Syrah, and Chardonnay from Sonoma County. And I was invited back in 2005 by a small producer that really wanted me to come as an assistant winemaker for the harvest. At the time, I was engaged with a cognac producer that I was supposed to marry. And my whole thought was that I would go back to cognac. He would be taking, the family business, and I might work for a big house like Grand Marnier or NC or Remy Martin, right? So when I came back in 2005, it was just before I decided to not get married. And I worked for this small winery in Sonoma where I met my husband, Jeff Pisoni. So they were making their wines at this winery. I was there.
Just FYI.
Tell us how you met.
So I was we became really good friends. So we were very, very good friends. He was making the Pisoni and the Lucia wine. So Lucy is part of a group of brands that the Pisoni family makes. Or their Pinot Noirs and Chardonnays are made under Lucia. And the kind of their flagship, the most expensive wine is the Black Label, the Pisoni Estate. So when I was working for this winery, I was the only employee. They are very small. And in half of the winery was where Mark and Jeff make all their wines. So we kind of started talking about wine. He's graduated from Fresno. I have my degree from Bordeaux. So we were just...
We're going to stop you there.
I'm in love with you already.
I know.
I
know. Exactly what I was about to say, too. We're going to stop you there because you're super cute. Of course, he said.
Of course. Never mind. We get it.
I know.
We just became...
know exactly how that went down because you're super cute.
We just became very good friends.
Your wines.
This is so good. I just tasted my first sip.
Thank you. So I love that wine. And one of the things about Chardonnay is people underestimate how difficult it is to make a really good Chardonnay. There is so much Chardonnay. People drink a lot of Chardonnay, but to really make a Chardonnay that is balanced, that has acidity, that is not bitter, that has aromatics, that really is seamless on your mouth, is something that is really important to me. And I came to California in 2005 and I came back in 2007 full time. So I have been living in California full time since 2007. And Jeff and I, we really became just very good friends. And in 2007, I wanted to move back to Sonoma. I was in Santa Barbara County. And I told him, let's make a plan. So come visit me. We need to make a plan. I want to move back to Sonoma. And we just got really drunk.
And the
That's how it goes.
But seriously, we drank so much that night. And I never, ever thought that we had any feelings for each other. So I guess I don't know myself that well, but anyway.
It's funny how wine can change you in a hurry, isn't it? Or just being around wine, it's a magical thing, as you see, going from Colombia, no wine, to just, it really is, it's a mythical, magical thing.
It's amazing. And, I think that one of the things that people underestimate, I'm definitely a very driven woman. I love my craft. I love making wine. I'm very passionate about it. But really the beginning of my label, it really comes from my husband always saying, what are you doing working for other wineries? I mean, you are so good. You are so talented. You need to do your own label. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because people don't really realize how different training in Europe is. In Europe, you are trained to be the winemaker for a place your whole life, and nobody knows you. It's very rare that people know the name of the winemaker unless you are in Burgundy or in the Rhone Valley, where your last name is the wine, right? Like everybody knows Romier. Everybody knows like all of these big names in Burgundy because it's a family domain. But in Bordeaux, it's not like that. In many wineries, when you're hired as a winemaker, nobody knows you.
Right.
So when I came here, I was like, that was my dream. I want to work for a winery. I'm going to dedicate myself to perfect my craft every year at the same place for so long. And Jeff, my husband, was born in their family business, became the winemaker for their business like very long time ago. And he's such an entrepreneur. So for him, it was like obvious, like, oh, come on, Bibiana, you can start your own label. So I really started Cattleya in 2011. A lot by Jeff really pushing me to do something on my own, I only made 25 cases. It was only one barrel.
Wait, 25 cases?
25 cases, one single barrel.
Wow.
It's crazy.
And what wine was it? What was it, a Pinot or was it a?
It was a Syrah. So it was 100% Syrah.
Syrah?
Yep.
Why Syrah?
I love Syrah. I'm a big Syrah fan. Actually, my first internship in France was in Côte Rôtie for a producer that today is one of the top 5, when his wines were sold at $8 a bottle, and now it's $400 to $600 a bottle.
Incredible.
Yeah, and he's like my best dear friend. Like we are both the same age. I was like 21 when I worked for him. I knew nothing about wine. And I just told him, so my first experience was in Côte Rôtie, and I just told him, I want you to treat me like a man. In my head, I was going to be all by myself in Colombia making wine. So that was my initial idea. I learned really fast that was not going to happen. And he was amazing. He never cared that I was a woman. He never worried if I was physically capable. Making wine is very physical. People think that this is making wine. You swirl the glass and you smell it.
Right.
But that's not making wine. I mean, the reality is making wine is very hard. It's very physical. You wake up early. You work 22 hours during harvest. You are nonstop.
Right.
You sacrifice a lot of everyday life for enjoyment sometimes during harvest because you are working so hard. And I really feel like working in Côte Rôtie was a huge thing for me, and I love Syrah, and I couldn't believe when I came to the United States that Syrah. I couldn't believe it. But
Washington State. That's
it.
That's it. Washington State, right?
Yeah, and people will pay $300 for a Gigal or for a Domaine Roger or for a Alain Clap, but they will not pay it for a Syrah, right? For a new Syrah. So Jeff and I, we just have always cared a lot about each other work. And I really think that my husband has been a big drive on always, always being kind of one step ahead of why you're not doing that. It was the same with Alma. I had a request from Colombia from an importer that said your wines are very expensive to bring to Colombia, like Cattleya wines. But he was like, but I really would love to have something from you. Like, can you make something that is more affordable? And that was really the drive on making Alma wines. I wanted to make wines from Sonoma County that are really pure on the varietal. So I don't blend anything else. This is 100% Chardonnay, 100% from Sonoma, 100% like sorted, handmade, goes through the press. It's treated pretty similar as the Cattleya Chardonnay. It's just different vineyard sources where there is more crop per acre. So you kind of reduce the cost of grapes by having more grapes per vine, which is going to change the concentration and the ageability of the wine. But still, the wines are, I love Sonoma. I think it's an AVA that has an unbelievable characteristic. It's very defined by terroir. So these, I mean, the Alma wines are a bargain. I mean, the price.
Oh, for sure.
This is
I'm like,
oh my gosh. I mean, I won't name some names, but right before Megal Fix is laughing because right before we did this tasting, I had a rep come in and bring in a
lot of Chardonnay.
Really expensive, super expensive Chardonnays, some from Burgundy and some from Napa. And like I said, I won't name names, but like this is
on par,
right up there with them at a fraction of the
And
cost.
we just tasted them like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So it's like right on my tongue, and I'm like, this is still better.
Yeah, better or
and like
as good
$200 and something bottle, No, we have really good stuff.
We do have some.
I mean, it was like crazy expensive.
We'll say it off the air to make Bibiana feel really good about these Burgundies she's tasting against right now. That I know she knows what they are, who they are. So we'll do that. We can really make her go to bed with some great self-esteem, But why don't you tell us, since we're a little bit behind on some time, just tell us a little bit about how you make this Chardonnay, like what your oak aging program, etc. is.
So we play with 7 to 12 different vineyards every year. It really depends on the production of the vineyards and really the fruit that I can source. The majority of the grapes are all hand harvest, night harvest. All the vineyards now in Sonoma County are sustainable farming. So that's something that is really important to me, to work with sustainable fruit. The fruit comes to the winery, it goes through the sorting table. So that is the first step, I would say, where we are committing to quality by losing volume. So any juice that can come on the beans from the grapes that they've smashed a little bit, we dispose that juice. It doesn't make it into the press. It doesn't make it into the tank. We press the grapes very gently, so we use a pneumatic press. And then we let the juice settle overnight, go straight to barrel. We ferment. We go through 100% alcoholic fermentation, so we don't have any residual sugar. I like my wines very dry, so really not looking for that jammy or sweet character. And then we age it on 100% French oak, and the new oak can change. So some years we can have 5%, 10% new oak, but definitely all the wine is aged on 60-gallon vessels, and the aging is about 15 months before we go to bottle.
So there's so many things I want to say but I know we're running out of time. One thing I want to say is that, one thing I want to ask about is this cork that you have that, oh hey Hillary. The cork that you have that,
the DM cork. Yep.
What's it called? No take cork.
Yeah.
Tell me about that, because that's super interesting to me.
Yeah, so the cork is the brand that makes it is Diam, D-I-A-M.
Yeah.
And this company actually became really famous because Burgundians are obsessed about this cork. And a lot of people don't really know a lot of the history of Burgundy Chardonnays, but for a very long time they were having a lot of issues with pre-mox. So it's a very early oxidation of the wine.
Oh.
And they haven't really actually been able to figure out why, but they were really worried that it was the cork or a normal cork that, that we use, that you see on the belly of the whale.
Yeah.
So they went with these corks that are supposed to have 0 TCA. So that is what I really love about this cork. You will never get a cork end wine with a DM cork. I mean, if you ever get a cork bottle from me on the Alma wines, I will send you a full case because I will send you a full case, but it's impossible.
That's so interesting to me.
Yeah.
I know I heard that. I mean, and so you only use, that's what I saw on your thing was, on your website, was that if you get a bad bottle, we'll send you a full case. So I mean, like, how long have you started using this, and how long are you completely feel about it? I mean, like, when you say this is it.
I really feel like what I like about this is that the wines can still breathe. So it's not like, I don't have anything against screw cap, but I'm a little bit of a classic person.
Yeah.
I really want to pop the cork. But I have never found another closure as good as the cork that we use for Cattleya, which is at $2 a bottle cork. So
Yeah.
the belly of the whale cork costs $2, just the cork.
Yeah.
When you think about the concept of economics, obviously that is a very expensive cork. So I feel like DM corks bring everything that I expect to deliver to my customers. A clean wine that is exactly the wine that I bottled, a wine that can still breathe and age over 5, 10, 15 years, but a wine that you are not going to get any cork taint bottle. So TCA is a molecule called trichloroanisole.
Yes.
Which is a compound, for everybody that is looking at us, is the compound that it smells like cork taint.
Yeah.
That when you smell the wine, it smells like moldy. And that is why some gave you the cork. You're supposed to smell it. People don't know why they get a cork. So I have friends that are like, why they are giving me the cork? I'm like, just smell it. It should not smell like anything else than the wine or wood, but it should not smell moldy. So, yeah.
Well, that's incredible. And I learned something tonight about corks, because I don't know, I've never heard about that type of cork. And I think that's very interesting. So thank you for that. The other thing I was going to say is that Frances said tonight is that she's new to drinking wine and she's learning that as a woman in a traditionally male business, she thinks winemakers are amazing. So I do think women winemakers are amazing as well. Do you think that there are things that you can get, the nuances, or, is there something that brings, being a woman that you bring to the table that maybe that men don't?
Okay, so before that, I know Mark is ready for you to let him back in.
Oh, let's let him in. Oh, hey,
And then to answer to your question, and then I'm going to invite Mark. I know he wants to show us something really cool, but I'm going to answer to your question. I do not think that as a woman you can smell or have different or like an advantage towards men as a winemaker. But I do feel like as a woman, when you are successful as a winemaker, you have to work, and you have worked already 10 times harder than a man.
For every business.
Yeah, and I don't, I think it's just the normal, it's just the world we live in. And I think when you don't think about it, so I never really think about it. Like I never thought I'm Colombian, and I never thought people think I'm on the drug business. You just go through life, right? You just do what you want to do. And I feel like, for example, I went to France, and I wasn't trained to smell wine. I wasn't trained as a taster. And I became literally like a dog. I would smell everything. I would go to stores, and I would go to the sections of every single aroma. And I trained myself so hard that I actually was the best taster of my class in Bordeaux.
Of course you were.
I was studying with the today winemaker at Petrus. I was studying like with really like kids that grew up tasting wine, smelling wine, and the best wines from Bordeaux and France. So I really believe that when you are passionate about something and when you are driven, you work hard to be really good at it.
Yeah.
I do think that we are very sensitive. I mean, I really love the soul that I give to my wines because I think if people knows me, they can really take my personality through my wines. They really will know that I believe on this and that you can taste it, and that is just really important. I don't like bitterness, so I'm super sensitive to bitterness. So when I taste wine during the winemaking process, I'm always avoiding anything on the process that can bring any character of bitterness. So yes,
everything you said, 100%. I love that. Super sensitive to bitterness.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So women winemakers are amazing. So the answer to your question, Francis, is women winemakers are amazing. Yes. So Mark, you look like a t-shirt. Like you look so pretty right now with you and the wine
glass, and he's just so smiley.
I'm happy. I mean, you ladies are fun, and
sometimes
I've got a great glass of wine. I'm listening to you girls, which are super fun. Bibiana, I learn something every time I listen to her. And I mean, it's just, to spend an afternoon with you ladies and having a great glass of wine, it's like, in this crazy world we're in, if you could sit down and have a glass of wine with your family or with your sweetheart and like celebrate, it's like, what else is there, man? Seriously.
Totally. So, we literally only have 4 minutes to talk about Belly of the Whale.
Before that, Mark, can you show us really quickly where you are?
Okay. I know, it's a beautiful spot wherever you are.
Super quick. I want to tell you guys, I'm a local beekeeper, and I love showing people my bees. It's part of our sustainable farming, and I'd encourage.
You have an apiary? Here's an apiary.
Yes.
Of course.
Take a look, guys. If you got it. Bibiana, can you see those guys?
Oh my God. That is so
happy.
Cool.
Oh, they look so happy.
They are.
You look happy. Our bees are all asleep right now because it's winter.
So, Bibiana, back to Belly of the Whale. But anyone who has a chance to get bees in their backyard, do it. I'm on the Monterey County beekeeper list. It's super important for everything, and we get great honey for it, and we're helping our planet out.
Hey, have you guys had any of the issues with the big, the killer wasps? I know that they were in Washington, but they haven't come to California, have they? The bee killing wasps?
No, we keep those bad bugs away. Remember, I got good bugs out here.
I hear him. Okay.
He said they keep those bad bugs away.
Good.
But yeah, just to talk about the Belly of the Whale, it's a very, very rare wine.
It's so
we only sent to the entire state of Florida about 25 to 36 packs. It's a beautiful wine. It's very age-worthy. I think that it's really great to drink now, but if anybody opens it now, I would say decant it. Enjoy your glass while we are tasting and talking.
Yeah.
Make your dinner, put the cork, drink tomorrow, drink a little bit the next day. It really is a very serious wine. I love the vineyard. It's a vineyard that is 2,300 feet elevation in Sonoma Coast on the Petaluma Gap area. It has about 60% new oak, all French oak, barrel by barrel selection. We only get the free run. We don't use any pressed wine. And it's a wine that I'm super proud of it. It always gets big scores and people can focus on that. But I really feel like when you get different people liking the wine so much, there is something really exceptional about it. And I really think the site has a lot to do. And just the respect that we show to the grapes when we bring them to the winery and how we are making the wine. We never pump the wine. We only rack with inert gas. So we only use Aragon on the process. Anyway, It's a fantastic, very, very special wine.
So I'm drinking it right now for the first time, and it is incredible.
It's really,
We
really good.
literally, if you're watching and you want some in Pensacola, we literally only have 2 bottles left. We sold out of it, so hopefully everybody's drinking it. But if you're not, we do have 2 bottles left. So call us, text us, whatever, message us in the morning, and we'll hold you a bottle because it is incredible.
This is so incredibly good. It just, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's delicious.
Cuddle it and tell it I love it.
Yes, it's so good.
Thanks.
Mm.
There is a lot of love.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. I don't know what you celebrate, but we celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas here at the store. So we hope you guys have a great holiday, and thank you guys so much. And we hope that you guys will either come out here or we'll come out there.
Oh no, we're coming out there. I'll find some nasty bugs. I'll do whatever.
She might not come home.
I'm
If you're looking for somebody, she might not come home. And Bibiana is probably like, yes, with your Colombia earrings.
We can meet in Medellin. You know, I go to Pensacola, we do an event, and then we fly to Colombia. We go for 2 days and we come back.
Well, that's awesome. I love the fact that you guys are going to go do that. And I'm going to just be stuck here in Pensacola.
I know.
But I will come out and see you guys. And thank you guys so much for being here. And the wines have been delicious. And we are incredibly blessed to have you guys. And we hope that you guys have a great holiday. And we hope that we see you guys.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers,
We see you guys in
Bye.
2021.
Farmers, we love farmers. We love winemakers. We love it all.
Oh, hi, baby. Oh, so here we got here.
Ooh.
That's the baby. It's the baby dog. That's the baby dog. It's our last. It's our last show before. Last show before Christmas. So next Thursday is Christmas Eve. We give her some kisses.
I have been seeing them all day long.
Next Thursday we won't be doing our show because we will be doing Christmas Eve with our families. So we hope you guys will also be doing Christmas Eve with your families. And call us before Monday. Call us before Monday if you need a Christmas box. And
Get some cheese.
Get some cheese and
Get some of this, you guys.
oh my God.
Holy crap balls.
I know.
This is really good.
I know.
We haven't tried it before tonight, and it was everything was really good.
All of the wines were incredible. So hope you guys will come in. We've got a few left of everything.
Or don't come in.
Everything.
I'll take it. Don't come in.
All right. See ya after Christmas. Merry Christmas.